changes are IT services are increasing significantly because of the new company.
Mhm.
There's salary requests. Workers' comp has gone down significantly.
Wow.
So that's a great thing.
Is that because our calculation on current injured?
I believe so,
Have
yes,
injured within so many years has decreased.
yes.
Good. Good.
Mary thought that we don't know if we want to pursue getting quotes from different companies now because of that, or
Or what?
the workers' comp.
Hmm.
But,
I was gonna ask, how often do we do that as a practice, go out to bid for our insurance?
well, I
Workers' comp
haven't
is
done,
tricky,
yeah, I haven't
Like every
done that
5
since I've
years?
been there.
We went out to cut
But
that.
we changed it to the
Right?
county,
Right.
yeah.
We had several people that were on disability that we had bidding with companies. High. And then you have so many years where they stand, and then once they drop off, provided you don't have any more, that's an opportunity. Well, but we went with
Right.
Niner, right?
Right, well,
Which was
it-
very good rate.
Good.
it's with the county.
My experience with workman's comp is you shop it around and a lot of guys lowball you the first year and then they
Right.
start whacking you.
Right.
Even if you didn't have any increase, no injuries, nothing. And they just try to get you in the door,
Right. and it's-
I know initially we weren't happy with the county because of some of the stuff that George, whatever his name is, was pulling, but I guess they've kind of come together now and that they've been good
Mhm.
with us.
How much is it roughly?
The workers' comp total bill is
Yeah.
33,830.
That's not too bad.
I think
Not
it
too
was
bad
like
compared to,
58 or something last year.
yeah, how many
Remember?
employees do we have?
25, 20.
Yeah, it ranges, I think around 28 right now,
Yeah, so that was.
but that
was
also
like me,
includes
That's what we used to pay,
the summer help.
right? And we used to pay
I
around
have
that
to-
same
I have
amount.
to- Yeah,
And the people
When they
that
do
were
the
on
audit.
it,
And I
very
shop
steady
everywhere,
years. I remember that.
Yeah.
That's why our index was high.
right?
health insurance has increased a little bit, of course. I think it was almost 9%.
That went up 9%.
I think, yeah, is what I calculated.
And that's gonna keep going.
Mhm.
That's if you-
Unless we, change something there. I did not put anything in this budget yet for building improvements. I know we're talking about the
A roof.
need for a roof.
Do we have estimates on that?
I called before I left and he told me to call him when I got back, but
And then the
Yeah.
ramp
Today's my
outside, right? The ramp.
that's
We had-
already, that's already budgeted for this year. Yep, yep.
and we budgeted more than we're gonna use.
Like how much was that? Just like
At
22, I think.
Oh, 25 total,
5,000.
yeah.
But our estimate with our guys doing it is like
Yeah.
$8,000.
Okay,
And we did, use some of those funds for the paving out
so
front.
there's discussion as to whether we might have to close the ramp, like why would we have to do that?
Jonathan.
Well, you gotta take it out.
has looked at it.
Yeah,
One of the railing area is very weak. There is concern that someone leaning on the railing, it could collapse,
okay,
but he's shorted up. But the discussion was on the type of materials that they're looking at.
Mhm.
If Trek is affordable, maybe you go Trek. If not. it
Well,
needs to be-
let me interject
You
there.
need to do that.
I already got Matt Anderson, the wood specialist. He came over, he looked the whole thing over. He gave me a letter. I gave it to James. I told James to share it with Jonathan.
Mhm.
And he says, absolutely don't use Trex. Number one, it's too slippery. It'll get a lot of moss on it and all kinds of stuff. He said, use pressure treated wood. And he gave the designation of the wood, the code. And I just gave it to our rec director and asked me about it. And
Danielle,
Danielle.
Now, is
And
that already considered in the 2023 budget?
Yes, the rent,
So
yes.
that's already
We're
Yeah.
all-
allocated.
I
Yeah.
do know that. I was just, I do know. I just was, wanted to know where we were on that.
Mhm.
So.
Actually, I do have 10,000 in for building
The
improvements.
thing that
Okay.
Jonathan said to Danielle, I was trying to get the numbers,
Mhm,
and he said it cannot wait,
right,
because it's not safe. And
correct.
so when Mary said, put a, caution tape or whatever, so that no one uses it and there's no
Mhm.
issue. So that's why, besides getting the numbers later, I didn't apply for the grant for it because he said it's unsafe and has to be done before the winter.
Right,
Um,
Well, we really scheduled it to be done in September,
right.
but I don't know what
Well, the
happened there.
variance.
Yeah.
okay, so he's already, the person's already ready to go then, right? I mean, it sounds like it to do it.
A lot of people are gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then other building improvements, would we have any?
Yeah, the roof.
The roof,
The roof.
and then the ramp, and then that's it so
No.
far?
You had carpeting allocated, you
I
had
think, didn't we
doors.
already allocate them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, not doors.
Wow.
We did not allocate them.
We have the ARPA money.
So
We have not
Okay,
used
good.
any of it that we allocated for
I
building.
asked Lois
Wow.
last week to give me a breakdown on the ARPA, so
Yeah.
supply me. with-
Right, I have it too,
need
but
to
I
my
couldn't read it.
glasses.
I couldn't read it.
So
No, sorry.
upgrades,
Okay.
Try to get it on one
Where is
page.
that for?
it's not in,
I
Oh, okay.
think I emailed.
She
it to
emailed it to
everybody.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
upgrade Zoom meeting, we had been allocated out of ARPA for 7,345. That money has been done. There is no balance on that
Right.
7,345. Purchase of 3 highway trucks. There was a ARPA allocation of 200,000. The balance on that right now is
8 something.
8,700 because there are, in your report, you'll see there's been action on several trucks. On town hall facility improvements, what you're asking, ARPA has allocated 40,254.02, which we discussed and we approved for that. There is a balance of 40,700 or $254. Sorry,
Wait, is that for the carpeting?
that's
That would-
all of this.
We could do the carpeting, yes.
Okay, but it's just the carpeting or what else was in that? I forget.
I don't think we made it detailed.
Okay,
Well, the carpeting is definitely not.
Well,
worried
it was
about.
there were doors and
I know we need
500
doors,
okay.
yes, and maybe that includes part of the roof.
okay.
Oh, but we also
that
got-
would be great to get that detail. I think if we could look at that.
I mean, we're also gonna have money left over from the ramp. That
You
we
might
can
have a
use,
little,
might
yeah,
have some money, yes.
yeah,
right?
yes,
For park
improvement,
improvement,
Yeah.
facility improvement, park. There's an allocation of $45,000. And right now there is $45,000 balance. And then I'll explain at the end what has to be done. Upgrades accounting to enhance software. There was an allocation of 10,500. Some monies have been spent, 8,445 have been spent. So there is a balance of 2,000 something left. And then Killarn Road, phase 1, there was an allocation of 24,900, it looks like. There's been 5,170 spent, so there is a balance of 19,779. All of this ARPA money has to have contracts in place, not necessarily work begun by December of 2024. Otherwise, the monies have to go back. So
No,
we
that's
have to
no-
get
that's no
those
problem.
allocated,
Yeah.
get contracts signed and move forward. So we've got quite a bit of money that will help take care of some of the facility things.
How much is left in that fund?
It was fun. The total,
ARPA.
the whole
There's
total is
116.
$116,088 are left.
Yeah.
But left unallocated
Right.
Or,
Right.
because they're allocated to certain departments. They just haven't acted on it yet.
right,
Okay.
So that's beyond your budget. So those monies are extra monies. If you were to absorb those into your budget, it would change the levy and you would be,
No,
you would be throwing your
Right.
Well,
budget off.
Right, that's the, yeah, I mean, that's how a lot of entities are using their funds for these sort of rainy day projects that they don't have the money for yet, but out of the 116, it would be helpful to know, besides the carpeting and the fire doors and stuff, the things you want to allocate it for, because perhaps we want to direct some of that towards the roof and hold.
Yes,
other things,
I
you know,
believe you would
like-
be able to. Plus this tent, and also we received a donation from Millbrook Tribute Gardens, for cybersecurity
Yeah.
and
15,000.
and computer software.
Did somebody talk to somebody here about that?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Absolutely.
cybersecurity?
Yeah. Kathy Shanks calls me every year
Okay.
when the tribute garden is gonna sit down. I call Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Mary just kind of comes up, talks to Lois and stuff, and we don't get, would we get 15 grand?
Mhm.
That's what we
So
usually.
cybersecurity came up as a subject. I see.
Yeah.
If we
Was
use,
it 30 or something for the cybersecurity for the year? What was the total that Mary said for that?
for the new IT, I think it's about 35.
30?
Yeah,
So
and
we're
that's
still
split between A fund and B fund.
Okay.
Yes.
Built in, not including the 15 from tribute garden.
That would, if we used that money, we could
You
probably
know, when we.
offset that data processing line,
Yeah,
and you could put it
We
to,
got it, we did already.
if the roof was
right.
more than, we could have left in the ARPA money, or for the doors. Do you know what I mean? I could take one appropriation and put it to the other,
Right, exactly.
The
if
other
we
thing-
used.
The other thing, when we get into specific departments like recreation, there have been some grant monies from like Whalen over the years that have not been accessed yet. So there is a pool of dollars in certain departments that can be accessed for some of the asks that they're doing if we want to lower the tax by pulling those dollars in place of the levy. Otherwise, those departments, if the budget goes through plus the dollars they have, like she's got almost close to $200,000 she can access for all the projects that we've been discussing.
Between
up
the
there.
grant,
Between the grants,
the donation, and
the
the
tax.
ARPA, right?
What question though, should we, if she has a fund or any kind of a grant or endowment from, you said the Whalens gave money for the rec.
Yeah, the park, park and.
Understood.
That then, would it make sense for us to take the ARPA money instead of using the 45 to fill the gap for the?
I would use the ARPA money first, because
You would
if
use
you,
it first.
yes, because if you
For
don't,
what?
you lose it.
Well, my thought is, can we redirect the ARPA money to something that's not rec related, like the roof? Take the 45 and put it towards something else. I don't know how these gifts are given, if the gifts are given sort of in a general fund, or if they.
Well,
if they're
they don't want, right. Well,
They do, yeah.
listen,
Yes.
I wrote a letter. I gave it to him. I said, we need to pave the drive here for $50,000. We need to pave the park for
Not doing it.
80, I said, our list is humongous.
Okay,
And we usually get 15 grand. So,
Okay.
listen,
so however,
The gift from-
that makes sense. but I
the
think
gift from the
right now, that's
tribute
a
garden.
good idea that we could do.
They don't have like the roof quote.
No,
I thought Jonathan, right, he had a door.
Yes.
Yeah,
Square quotes yet, but, because I was trying to get.
right,
Well, you
right.
could, I mean, the doors could be, we could use the money for the ramp. What's left to pay for the doors. I mean,
I think they were quite a bit of money because.
oh, they are, they're
special
crash
size.
doors. Yeah, they're special size.
Yeah,
Feeling is, and I think Les is on the same page. Because someone here, the town clerk has said, the ramp has been determined not to be safe. Now that we've been told, we need to act on that immediately. It's like the tree root in a town under a sidewalk. If somebody knocks it,
Oh, I know.
just says, I tripped.
Prior notice.
Once your prior notice, now
Yeah.
you're liable for that, so we need to act.
And the other thing, just while
Yeah, I
it's being
thought they
done,
were-
we need to have handicap access. Someone said, and with this tech chain, I was trying to get that the elevator just needs to be fixed, so maybe we can get that as a
Yes, yes,
priority for
yes.
repair.
We're doing it. I came down
Chrissy's-
yesterday.
Chrissy just gotten.
Yeah.
I got the keys and the key to the door is broken. So we're gonna check tomorrow to see if we can find a second key. If not, we'll call the people, put them on hold, have them. overnight us new door keys for the doors, because I'm 99% sure that if you lock the door, it will not go up and down. And it's got power and everything.
And
So
with the public
it's
hearings
not
that have been
broken.
taking
I
place,
do not think it's
that
broken.
use don't have to do it.
Work on getting the keys
The keys.
before service. Thursday, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so depending on Saturday's weather, we have a Dyson Memorial Tournament every year. And a couple of weeks ago, I sat with Rob Dyson. And he said to me, he said, does the town need anything?
Oh,
So I said, well, we were kind of kicking around the idea of building, pickleball courts up at the town park. And he said, well, how much are they? And I have no idea.
no.
Does anybody have an idea what
Yes,
two
the
cars?
20 to 25 to 50,000 per court,
It
depending
depends
on how elaborate you want to get, how much landscaping you have to do to prepare the area. So you're talking maybe 100,000 or 60 to 70,000. The thing is, if Rob is making that offer, it would probably go through the Dyson Foundation.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It would be
Oh, yeah.
a gift.
Right.
They have a timeline because I used to get money at St. Francis through the Dyson Foundation. So again, it would be preparing a proposal, getting it in on their timeline, and then finding out when those awards are made, because many of those foundations don't make their gifts until the fall of the following year.
Right.
But if we were to say, when recreation comes in, the park gets discussed and they want to do it, build it into the budget and you get the possibility of that reimbursed, or you put it off until you get the gift, then you do it for the
Yeah.
following year.
Yeah, I mean, what I think would be great for us to do, and I can make the calls because I have the, on the paving part, because Mike and I went to go look at that, and I thought we could,
The driveway.
to do that for the CDBG grant, but when I asked them, when I went to that thing, they said that wouldn't qualify. That's why these doors wouldn't qualify, let's be the ramp in, because they're not, it's all about handicapped. Anyway, we kind of had it on hand, not that we get that offer or that question that often, but if we just had sort of like, and obviously numbers change, but
Right.
we need a driveway, we want to do pickleball, we want to do this, and we just had, it's almost like a donor, we do sort of donor proposals for donors for schools and stuff. It's sort of like, these are the 10 things we need, what interest, what's your interest? Because they might, or they might say, I'll do the whole thing, you never know.
One advantage on that field, the baseball field, is right in front of right, either in front or back, depending on understanding. The backstop on the Little League field is a monument rock on which is a dedication to Rob's parents.
Mhm.
So there is already a familiar interest in that area.
Yeah.
So during COVID, there were friends who said, oh, we do pickleball, we play in our driveway. I'm like, this is great. We can do. So I called this and I was absolutely, I'm like, we are not putting, I thought you just draw lines and nothing.
Oh, no.
The big expense is leveling the ground.
Right.
And I think because we have fields and stuff, it might be super easy to do.
Yeah.
But that's the big question mark. It's not the actual
So when,
So the thing-
time